Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video I will share with you how to make these beautiful spring flowers, crocuses. Let's get started. First, let's cut the petals. Trace the petals with an empty mechanical pencil. It will leave a very distinct indentation, which you can use as a guideline. I drew a few different petal shapes for crocus. The first and the third ones are used to make blooming flowers. In nature, crocuses have either smooth edges or slightly rigged, depending on the species. But each open flower has 6 petals. We need to cut 2 pieces of wafer paper for each petal. The second narrow petal from the template will be used to make flower buds, and it will be made with 3 to 4 single petals. Remember to do it only for petals number 1 and number 3. Narrow petals don't need a wire. When our petals are prepared, cut little pieces of thin wire. I used gauge 26. Then brush smooth side of wafer paper petal with coloring liquid. Attach a little piece of wire and sandwich it with another petal. You can find the recipe of coloring liquid in the description to this video. In nature, crocuses are very colorful, and you can see them in different colors and color combinations. I will show you 3 different ways of coloring the petals. First, add a little bit of white gel food coloring into coloring liquid and brush both sides of the petal. It will create a very nice matte look. Then, with a violet food coloring, paint many curvy lines starting from the bottom part of the petal. Don't try to make them symmetrical. In nature, every petal is unique and doesn't follow any strict pattern. So in this case, imperfections are perfect and are key to the realistic look. For the second color combination, color both sides of the petal in light purple. Then color the edge with violet. As a final step, paint a few thin veins with dark violet color. Put the petal on a silicone mold. Since the petal is pretty wet, it will easily take the shape of the mold. Let it dry completely. And finally, orangey-yellow color combination. The technique is very similar to the previous one, but I didn't add purple veins. I will add extra color after assembling the flower. For the buds, color the petals in one color. It is important not to make them too wet, because it will be very hard to lift them and place on the mold. You can take off extra moisture with paper towel before coloring the petals. One of the ways to utilize wafer paper leftovers is to make stamen. Cut little pieces of wafer paper, color them in orangey yellow, and wrap around a 26 gauge wire. In nature, stamen of crocuses have very irregular shape. Don't try to neatly and perfectly wrap wafer paper around the wire. Do it messy. Make some cuts, bumps, clots, something like this. But make sure that every stamen looks differently. I will show you how to make one more stamen, so you will get a feeling of what I mean. For my crocuses, I like to use one large stamen and two smaller and thinner ones. However, you might prefer it to look another way. So, here are beautiful colorful petals that soon will become flowers. There are 3 ways to assemble crocus: to make a bud, semi-closed flower, and an open one. Let's begin with an open flower. To make the center of the flower, attach 3 stamens to each other using a floral tape. Then, cut off little square edges at the bottom. Now, slightly bend each petal where the wire is and attach them using green floral tape. Crocus has 6 petals. 3 of them go around the stamen, another 3 go around the first row of petals, covering the gaps. of assembling a less open flower is basically the same, but I decided to include this part to the video as well, so you can see how I did it. Also, I chose to show you this flower because I had a little accident here that was very easy to fix. Here it is. I broke the petal, but I used a little bit of water and nobody will ever notice what happened. It's very easy and fast to fix, and you can see it real time. Now let's make a flower bud. After the petals become dry, it is very easy to peel them off from the mold. First, cut a strip of wafer paper, apply some water or wafer paper glue, and wrap it around the wire. It will be the base for the flower bud. The base is done, color it using the same orangey yellow color you used for the petals. Then attach the petals. You will need 3 or 4 of them. There are 2 ways to make a stem. The first one is to wrap it with wafer paper and color it later in green. or to wrap the wire with paper towel strip to make it thicker, and then to wrap it with floral tape. I decided to show you the first option. For each leaf, cut 2 thin strips of wafer paper and cut out a simple leaf shape. I didn't include a template because it's a very simple shape and you will need to adjust the size anyway, depending on the length of your flower stem. Also, to make the flowers more realistic, don't stick to the same size for all the leaves. Make some of them shorter, thinner, more pointy, or more rounded. Then assemble the leaf the same way as we did with the petals. Apply a little bit of coloring liquid, attach the wire and sandwich it with another half of the leaf. Color the leaves using neon green, leaf green, brown, yellow and orange colors. The more colors you mix, the more realistic result you will achieve. Then color the stem using the same colors. Add a few green veins to the bottom part of all the petals of orange and yellow flowers. Now let's have a look at the flowers I made, and we will add leaves as a final touch. Cut off the square edges at the bottom of the leaves and attach them to the stem using floral tape. You can either add 1 leaf or 2 to each flower. That's it, our spring bouquet is done. If you liked this tutorial and found it useful, please subscribe, leave me comments and thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Bye!